So we put a clutch in the drift car. We went drifting this weekend. We figured out the clutch was the main issue. Well, but I think the people who had this car before me or whatever, I don't know if they just beat on the car or if they had been running it with a problematic clutch and throwout bearing and all that or whatever, because it had problems when I had it. Then I had to put a clutch in it. Everything went together smooth, which, you know, if it ever goes smooth like that, you end up with a problem. Well, went to the track this weekend and went one lap, kicked the spark plug wire off, pulled back, put it back on. My son went for a couple laps, spark plug wire come back off. All right, so we brought it back in, we zip tied it and hooked it back together, no big deal. So I'm backing out to go back out. All of a sudden the pedal just goes to the floor and there's grinding and cracking and carrying on. And I thought, well, the transmission's gone because this thing had a bunch of garbage in it. I mean, it looked horrible, all the fluid had come out of it. So I got under it. It had blew the slave cylinder out, and I thought, not this again, because we went through that on the G35, like that was horrible. Well, it's not that again at all. That happened, but that's not what's wrong. All right, so this is the front plate on the transmission that lives right there. Okay, that broke off. This piece lives on there, and this piece broke off completely, like it completely broke out of the transmission. So as you can see, you might be able to see because it's kind of lit. I'll put you some light on this, Jewel. We'll come and get us a light here. All right, so let's ate this thing up. Now when you put the new one in and see the bearings, I guess that's normal. But what you look for in these is that. So I may end up having to put a bearing in it, I don't know. I may not even keep this transmission, I may do a swap or something, I don't know. But when I put the new plate on, that will be hidden, it'll be covered by that sleeve. The sleeve is actually what the throwout bearing rides on. So I don't know why that thing broke, but it broke. I don't know if that's a common thing. I don't know if that's this, you know, I was sabotaged. I don't know if it was a random thing. I don't know that I didn't do something wrong. I don't think I did anything wrong, but I'm the kind of guy where I'm not going to be like, I didn't do anything wrong. It's not my fault. I do the best I can. If I mess something up, I mess something up. I am no perfect person or mechanic or anything. This is me doing what I do, and who's to say what happened, you know what I mean, honestly. Because I mean, I've done a ton of transmissions and clutch jobs, and I've never had anything. I've never had one of these things break. I have never experienced this on anything I've ever owned or bought or sold or traded. I have never had one of these break in my entire life. This 100% is new to me. Never experienced that. So I've got all the new replacement parts in what you call it, in my checkout box in Z1 Motorsports, because they have everything I need to fix this. They have the front plate. They've got, I want to go ahead and get a new arm, the new, probably a throwout bearing too. I'll probably just replace it all. And just, even though it's a new throwout bearing, I don't know how the local parts store will do it, but okay, so this sleeve could be, see, because this is a pressed in, and we pressed it out, and we pressed it back in, but it's jumped around so bad, the throwout bearing's messed up inside here. So, and this may have been the problem to start with. This may have been, you know, loose. It may have had some play in it, I don't know. But the spring, I cleaned everything, and I had to press it on. It didn't just fall on there. The gasket, I had to pull the gasket. It's got a gasket and seal and rings and stuff on there. But I really, I don't know. This is not something I've ever experienced before, so I don't know how to react to it. I don't know if this is a normal thing, if this happens on a regular basis, if it was cheap, you know, the material, if it's wore out, if it's where, you know, the people prior to me getting it, or years and years of whatever, if it just been wore out, because throwout bearing was bad, and, you know, who's to say, you know, a bunch of them just beating on it and finally just broke. But I've never had that happen, so it's odd to me to experience this. You know, it's a new experience entirely. This is not something I've had happen. So it's going to be probably $250 for that front plate, the gasket, the new, I want to go ahead and get a new arm. I don't know if it ain't tweaked or something. I don't think so. The new spring, the gasket, everything, to just put it all back new from here. That's not taking out the bearings or, you know, replacing any of that stuff. That's just the parts that, you know, that will go back on from here. A couple $100. All right, so I can't make myself decide, do I spend those couple $100 or do I spend a couple $100 changing it, you know, going toward, because I may put it back together and this transmission may just do it again. It may just completely just sling apart. It may have a bunch of crap in it. It may be maybe something else that I've not noticed. It's going to do it again. Or do I yank it all out, throw it on the ground somewhere and start my 2J swap or whatever swap right now? So, you know, with that money invested into these parts and upgrade. So what do I do from here, you know? Or do I just get a different transmission? Maybe the transmission's got some issues. But I'm telling you, it's full of crap. I turned it facing down, and we actually put all new fluids in it when we changed it. And I'd planned on coming back, and I can't get the drain from underneath it to come loose, so I took the actual speed sensor, the gear, out and got all I could. And then when I took this plate and stuff off, I rolled it forward, and actually a lot come out. So I feel confident that we've got a lot of the nastiness out of this thing. So I'm going to put all new fluids back when I go back. I already have them. I already planned on doing that. I got Lucas gear oil this time, so maybe, you know, I've always used Lucas. You know, you know what Lucas is. If you've been into the car scene, Lucas is supposed to be one of your higher end brands, like your Royal Purple and all that. So where do I go from here? You know, it's got a janky wiring harness. Do I put this in? Still got to get a seat. Got to figure that out. We did manage to get a seat in enough to run this weekend, and I only went out on the track once. I went around the block a time or two with no issues. It wasn't any kind of clutch kicking or anything that, as far as I know, that caused this issue. Because I mean, I was literally backing out and was pulling back. I was actually going to go get air in the front tire, so I wasn't going on the track. I was started to, and I was like, well, I got to get air, so I backed around, turned around, and was going to back out and go get air, because there's a little air thing at the drift track where we're at. I forgot my tank. And so as I pulled back in that spot, and I started to back out, and so like it popped, and I was just like backing out, you know. So it's not like I was clutch kicking and it did it. It literally was just backing out of a spot. And yes, I did go clutch kick. I mean, I went out and clutch kicked a few times and spun it around and played for just a minute. Not much, just a minute or two. Then my son went out and he kicked it around a time or two, and then, you know, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to do this again or if there's a problem with the transmission. That's what I'm afraid of. So, gotta make a decision here, but that's what we're dealing with, so maybe I can figure it out. Make a decision on where we go from here. But either way, all right, here we go.
I'm feeling high.